remember. They beat us. Because of you. Oh, no, no. Please, no more. We did what you asked. Please, we can't, no more.
I am not here to hurt you. All I need are answers, Gabriel. Answers only you can provide.
We? Providing answers to you?
All right, so if you love Dead Space and you found Callisto Protocol to be like a very lackluster like evolution of what Dead Space kind of created, then Cronos, the New Age, is a game that you need to be playing. This game is absolutely fantastic to a point that I had to stop, like, pry myself away from playing this on my computer so that I can give you guys this review, because this game is absolutely fantastic. And in case you're wondering, yes, this runs flawlessly on the Nintendo Switch too. With that being said, shout out to Bloober Team for sending this over to review. And if you want to pick it up, physical links or digital links will be down in the description down below. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about why, if you're a fan of primarily Dead Space, Silent Hill 2, and also Metro 2033, well, this is a game you need to be playing. Let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so I don't really want to touch on the story too much of Cronos the New Age, just because the story of this game, I'm still figuring it out. Like, I think every time I get to a point where I'm like, I think I know what's going on, then it completely subverts my expectations. And the reason I say that is because this is one of those games where the story just continues to change and change and change. Every time you get to like a major milestone, you get a whole paradigm shift. So it's never the thing you absolutely think it is. So to give you guys a bit of an example of what I'm saying, when I first booted this game up, I honestly thought that this game was going to be nothing different than what I played with Dead Space. Like, I remember seeing the preview trailers for it, and I'm like, this is kind of like Dead Space, and that was kind of what I was expecting it to be. I didn't expect it, because there's a lot of places I've been to in the game that aren't in the trailers. And I'm like, yo, if I saw that in the trailer, I would have actually not made a direct comparison to Dead Space. But nonetheless, it starts off with you and answering a bunch of questions, right? And whether it's right or wrong, these are the answers that are going to literally stick with you throughout the whole game. So you answer these questions, then you get dropped off into this abandoned building, and it's dark, and all you got is your gun and your flashlight, and you're just going through this area, and you're like, man, okay, so something's going to pop up at some point. So you're expecting a jump scare, and then something eventually does, as you're like, going about and looking through this creepy old kind of mansion or facility that you're going through. And so at that point, I'm over here like, okay, this is giving me, a lot of feeling of like tormented souls, and also Silent Hill, specifically Silent Hill 2, because a lot of mechanics that Bloober Team implemented in Silent Hill 2 remake are also very, very prevalent here. So I'm expecting, I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, so Dead Space mixed with a little Silent Hill 2. And so you go through it, and it keeps having you with this horror vibe. Like, you're like, man, this shit's scary. And you're like just going through it, inching through. And when you start getting to the combat encounters. Okay, before I even go to the combat encounters, let me go ahead and just talk about, the story. So you are essentially the traveler. You're someone who is traveling through what essentially seems like you're going through post-apocalyptic, somewhere in the UK, like Poland or so, because there's a lot of talk about, socialism and such. So you see all these articles and these entries, and you're reading them, and you're like, okay, so this is like a commentary on socialism versus capitalism, right? And also there's mention of communists too. So there's that. So you're like, okay, this is some political satire. Like that's where they're going with it. And then you start seeing the dates. You're like, wait, 1960, 1970, 1980. Okay. Like, okay, so we're in post-apocalyptic future going through the past, and like some type of fallout happened. And yes, there's also some fallout elements. There's your thing that you check your inventory is very much like a Pit Boy. So keep that in mind. So you keep going through it. You're thinking it's like post-apocalyptic. Then you start seeing like time rifts, and then you start jumping through time. And then it seems like you're jumping through dimensions. And then everything's, you go through these gory areas, and then it's like, then you go through other futuristic areas, and then you jump to the past. And like, there's just so much going on. The only thing I can say is you're the traveler and question everything. Okay, that's as much as I'm gonna say on the story. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Now, if you played Dead Space, this plays almost one-to-one like Dead Space. You've got your ability to swing your arm to attack. You can stomp on the ground, which allows you to break boxes on the ground. And then you've also got, your gun shapeshifts, kind of like the gun, Isaac Clarke's weapon in Dead Space. So it shapeshifts to different things, from a pistol to a shotgun to an assault rifle and more. And so you get all these different items that you can upgrade your suit, right? And so basically your suit is upgradable. You can increase your capacity for carrying items because you do have a limited inventory, which is where this kind of pulls a little bit from Resident Evil, old school Resident Evil. So you have limited inventory. You start off with, I want to say, about 6 inventory slots, and then you can, as you get cores, which are items that you use to upgrade your suit specifically. So if you want to increase your health, you want to increase your damage resistance, or you want to increase your storage capacity for your limited inventory, or your capacity for chemicals and metal items that you use to do crafting, because there's also crafting in this game. So there are different things that you need to do as far as how you want to upgrade your character. Now, I'm going to tell you this because the game is not going to tell you this, and you're probably going to struggle a lot at the beginning, which is kind of what I went through. And eventually it made me want to it made me wanted to eventually just restart the game. I didn't do it on my initial playthrough on PC. I did it on the Switch version. But nonetheless, when you're fighting enemies, don't try to shoot like a regular, regular third person over the shoulder survival horror game. You will waste bullets, and bullets are such a scarce resource that you're going to absolutely need if you want to get anywhere in this game. So the game will eventually tell you about this, but when you have any of your guns, your pistol, especially your shotgun, you can charge them to give an extra, like this additional attack that has a lot of oomph to it, which can initially just knock over your opponent or can like KO them in one go. So this is by you pressing and holding the shoot button while you're aiming, and that right there, you'll have a slow startup. So any encounter with enemies, just do the charge shots throughout the whole game, whether it's bosses or regular enemies, and aim for the head for maximum damage. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, when you get your energy cores that allow you to upgrade your suit, the main things you want to do is, with the cores, upgrade your capacity for your inventory slots, because you're going to need that as you progress through the game. I know you might be thinking, oh, I need to increase my health or my damage resistance. No, upgrade your storage capacity. After that, I would say, as far as with cores, upgrade your ability to carry more items for crafting, such as chemicals and metal objects, because you're going to need to be able to craft ammo when you get enough of certain items for your pistol and for your shotgun, as well as being able to craft health restoratives. So you're going to want to craft, as you can increase that inventory slots for those materials, definitely make sure you do that. Now, outside of that too, there is like a central hub location, which allows you to go to the different areas, from the steelworks factory to the hospital to, all kinds of places. And basically that's going to be a central hub that you're going to, it may not seem like it when you first start the game or the first couple hours in the game, but it is your central hub that allow you to go back, because you're going to run into these different areas, these different doors that have bolts on them, or like a steel chain, and you're going to need a a bolt cutter. It's like a chain cutter to be able to cut them, so you can go in there and typically you can find cores, a bunch of ammo, a bunch of resources. So one item you're going to want to keep in your inventory, which is why it's so crucial to keep increasing your storage capacity, is your bolt cutter. That's going to be something you're going to find that in every area. And if you run across it in the beginning of the game and then you're not able to like go into these areas to like utilize it because you don't have it on you, you'll eventually be able to go back to every area that you've been to. Just be patient, relax, you're going to get some. Okay. So outside of that, the other thing I want to mention that's really cool about this game is just the general vibe of it. Like, it is very much survival horror. You take a lot of damage when you get hit, but also enemies can be bullet sponges if you're not doing the targeting the head and doing charge shots. So you definitely want to do that. And just the way that the story unfolds by the notes, because you feel like you're really out of place, like you're going through somewhere in the past, or you're going through this like post-apocalyptic future, and you're like curious as to what's going on. But that curiosity, like I said, question everything, don't trust anyone that you run into. Now, another feature that's in this, which is also something that I feel like is a callback from not only Resident Evil 0, but also actually not even Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1 remake, as well as the Evil Within, is the fact that when you come across certain enemies, when you kill them, they will have these pulsating things around them, and you're kind of wondering like, oh, is this gonna respawn at some point? They're not necessarily going to respawn. But the thing is, enemies have the capability of, if they see a body that's near them and it has that like fleshy thing going, it will actually absorb it and make itself stronger, making it have more health and also increasing its damage output. So one of the things that you're going to want to do when you eventually get the flamethrower item is to burn bodies. Now, thankfully, your suit is flame resistant, and where you can go to like your save points where it's got save, the upgrade shop, as well as like where you can purchase certain materials and health and ammo, you will always be able to get your flamethrower ammo. And eventually, if you use cores, you can actually increase your capacity to 2, and the duration of the fire that it does as well. But just keep this in mind: any area that you're going to go through, and that if you've killed the enemies, make sure you burn the bodies. That way that, in case you go back there and then a new enemy is around, you don't have to like struggle through the whole thing. And that's something I kind of wish I'd known also beginning of the time, that you do get the infinite drops for the flamethrower ammo. Now that's going to mean that some areas you're going to like spend a lot of time going back and forth, kill out the enemies, group them around each other, burn the bodies, go back to the save point, get another flamethrower, go back, burn some more bodies. It can be tedious, but it will make exploration that much more simpler for you. So just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to boss fights are actually pretty interesting, in the sense that one of the first ones that you come across, like, you would assume that you fight it the way you would a typical lethal enemy. But the thing is, there are going to be canisters, and typically anytime there's a boss fight, there's canisters nearby. They're flammable. You can either shoot them or hit them. I say with some of these that do the exploding cans, if you can tank the damage, tank it by hitting it. That way you don't waste ammo. But if it comes down to it, just shoot it when it's near. The boss is near the canister. Shoot it, stun them, burn them. And like with the first boss, you got cores that pop up on his body like little bulbous cancerous polyps. So you need to destroy 3 of them to, beat that boss. The second boss is a bit of a bullet sponge. And I'm not going to talk about the next couple bosses because, hey, I don't want to ruin it. But the boss fights are very much where you need your resources. Like, you'll know when you go up to the first one will actually just surprise you because you're thinking you're going to go into a safe area where you can save and restock and all this other stuff. And then ultimately, no, you're wrong. You're not about to do that. That's not how that's going down at all. That's where the boss will just like creep up on you. But yeah, definitely before any boss fights, if you can like double check all the areas, which the game rewards you for exploring. So you do need to explore and also make sure you reserve your resources. Like, ammo is not plentiful. Make sure, like I said, you burn the bodies, charged headshots, and explore as much as you can. If you've come across cats, I know you're like, wait, cats. Yes, cats, you come across them, they give you either cores or a bunch of resources and a bunch of ammo within the rooms that they're in. So definitely pays to explore. And other than that, like the game, the vibe of it, it's terrifying at first because you don't know what's going on. And as the game goes on, I would say that for me personally, I got less and less scared. Now, granted, I was playing this game when I was high. Like I took my edibles, your boy was high, and I'm just like, man, because that's how I can lock in when it comes to horror games. Because if I'm not in that state, I can't really play horror games because I just, I need that, edible courage to spur me along. But the game started off scary because I did not know what really to expect, and it was like I had so many questions. As the game went on and I started getting better at it, it just wasn't scary. It's more or less, hey, I need to make it through it. I've gotten so far and I want to know what's going to happen next. And so like, I got more and more prepared. Think of it kind of in this way of, I guess the closest survival horror game I can, compare this to, that starts you off like terrified and underpowered. And then you start getting more and more, capable of dealing with the situations that come upon you, would be, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Because you think about it, you start off in the baker's house and you don't know what's going on, you're underpowered, everything's stronger than you, and it's terrifying. And then as you go on, you get more resources and it's not really scary. I mean, Dead Space is kind of the same way as well. So keep that in mind. That's the best way I can say is like as a good comparison. But it's definitely, it's definitely something else. Like that game is crazy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I've really enjoyed playing this on PC, also on my handheld gaming PCs like my Legion Go S and my Legion Go, as well as playing it on Nintendo Switch 2, which when you play it on Nintendo Switch 2, the game looks gorgeous. It runs fine. You don't really get slowdown or any type of issues. Like I'm really amazed at how, this game runs at 60 frames per second so smoothly on the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's like they were able to really tailor it really well. Like, this port does so good. And it's really cool too, being able to see, games now coming to the Switch, or rather the Switch 2 day and date as they would on PC as well as consoles. So keep that in mind too, if you're curious, about that little tidbit. That's really cool. But yeah, this game, absolutely phenomenal. Story is so good. It's got you so hooked. Like me, I'm ready to end this review so I can go back to playing it. And yeah, I'm absolutely loving this game. Bloober Team, this chef's kiss on this game. It is so good. Now, let me know what you guys think. Are you playing Cronos, The New Dawn? What are you playing it on? Are you having a lot of fun with it? Are you seeing the inspirations that this game has from, above all, Dead Space, Metro 2033, or the Metro series, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and a lot of indies have come out, such as Tormented Souls and others? Why don't you let me know in the comment section down below? And also thank you to Bloober Team for providing me a review code of the game. With that being said, catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. And ho.
Initiating the anchored frequency synchronization.